Very simple, and now we will come to DROs. I'm just going to put, just so I know, actually, instead of doing that, DRO, or I'll say no data. And that way I know it's not receiving that data from here. I will copy by Control-C, or just right-clicking copy and paste. And you can do another paste in place, but I'm not too concerned about how lined these are. You can click on one, shift, and then click on the other two, and come up to modify a line and do horizontally, and that'll make sure that they're nice and aligned. There's also distribute widths, but I'm not too concerned about that. And okay, so to do DROs, very simply, we're going to click on the DRO and we're going to change it to a dynamic text. Do _root, because you can have DROs inside of movies. So you could have a DRO inside of a container. You click on this button, it opens a container and then reveals the DRO. So always do DRO root capital _root dot capital DRO. This is 800. And then I'm just going to simply copy this, Control-C, and then change this to a dynamic, and root, and then just change it to a 1. And then the next one, I'm clicking on these, dynamic, clicking in here, and then this is 2. So 0, 1, 2. Very simple. So then we're all set to go. We're on our main frame. We've added an action to stop. And then I'll show you how to go to another frame on the main timeline, which works about the same. So in our e-stop here, I've also made this very, very easy. On our e-stop now, the action script doesn't, we don't have to label any of this stuff anymore. And what I've done is I've actually put the action script on the objects. So what we're going to simply do here is on this e-stop object, you'll want to click on it, and this is our button. Oops, don't click on the text. And in our action for our button, we're going to simply paste on release fs command button 1021. So it knows that when the mouse releases, when you put your mouse over here, it's going to change states. When you press it, it's not going to do anything, but on release, it's going to send this fs command 1021, which is sending a toggle between on and off e-stop state. You can also change this very simply by coming in here and changing it to a press, or you can come in here and do on, release, or on over, which is over. Oops, which would be on press, and oh, I know, roll over. So capital. There we go. On roll over, on roll out. So you can do on roll out, on roll over, on press, or whichever you'd like. I'm going to do on press, and we should be all set to go. So pretty simple here. All the code, anything you need, just come over to your default Mach, click on it, and it's basically going to tell you how to do that for everything. On your LEDs, you'll click on them, and none of this needs to be labeled. Just double click inside of here. You can see what the LED state is, and you can see that I have many different states for them that I can choose. And you'll be all set to go. DRO is very simple. Just under your variable will be located what the DRO is for. And that's about it. So on press, and you're all set to go. So any questions you have, just check in there, and it'll be all set for you, and everything should be ready and working here. So what was the other thing? So if I wanted to use this movie over and over again, but I want to change what it says inside of here, then what you're going to want to do is, if I copy this and paste it right next to it, and I come in here and I actually change what this is saying, it'll change both of them. Now, that's good in some sense, because, for instance, if I had this text on the outside and I wanted to simply change all my DROs in the way that they looked, I could do that, And if I had 100 DROs, they would all change to this thing, that color. So that is good for that. Now, if you want to be able to change objects that are inside of here, just click on it, right click, and choose duplicate symbol. Once you duplicate that symbol, oops, let me actually first do this. I'm going to Control C, Control V to paste it, then right click and duplicate that symbol. Now it'll ask you what's your new symbol name. Well, let's say I'm going to call this, what's a good button to have here? Maybe machine, online, offline. And press OK, and I don't need the copy. Name it whatever you want. Now once I press OK, I have the movie over here once again, and then I can just easily copy these, drag all my objects over here, and they're all set to go. So that's how fast it is. Now I know this is a button. It says that it's a button, and then all I simply have to do to have this button do something else is by just changing my on release and clicking on that actual button, adding it on release. But now I want to do online, offline. So I know that my machine coordinates for online, offline is actually 178. So come back here, click on that button I just dragged onto the stage, paste that code in there. Now that will change my online, offline status. Let me try to get more room here. And so now I know this is online, offline. I can copy, paste my text. That's a good size. And just do online. Oops. Let's change this size here. Go to my properties. And do online. And I could also, well, I'll do online, offline. Something like that. All right. Yeah, let's stretch this out so it all fits on there. And okay, so that was pretty quick to do that. And now I need to add my LED. So I'm going to come over here and check what my LED number is. Double click inside of it. And I know it is LED 67 here. So let me, I don't have very much room in this little screen. So I know this is my e-stop. These are just stuff that I dragged out here. And so let me actually do my machine online, offline, make sure I know it is. Double click inside of here. And now as you can see, the changes I make because I duplicated it will not reflect in this one. So instead of active, I'm going to put offline, line, and then in my systems stable, I'll put online. All right. So now I know that in my script I'm saying if I'm getting a 1, that means that I'm going to be online. If I'm getting, oops, if I'm getting a 0, I know that I am offline. Oops. And so now I just need to type this in for my actual layers here. So this will be my properties. Instead of red, it is going to be go to and stop online. And what color is this? Offline. So I'm going to call this offline. And in my properties for my frame name, I'll do online. Pretty simple. It's straightforward. And so here's my online, offline button. So, and here's my DROs. Now, make sure you're on single line. You got enough room for your text to fit in there. And I think you're all set to go. So I'm going to publish this. I'm going to save this. And then I will publish it. And it'll be right next to my, oops, I typed in the wrong thing for my stop here. That one's right. And now it stops right. That stops right. Oops, that stops wrong. Haha. Whoops, I did it again. Okay. So let me back out and check to make sure that I did this one right. Oh, I did the wrong one. Okie dokie, so let's publish this. As you can see, I'm a little bit tired here. So I published that, and it's right. It should be right next to Flash 1 interface. And I'm going to open up Mach, and here I'll show you. Okay, so it published right next to Flash 1 interface. I'm going to click on here. My buttons are working correctly, and now I will go to open up Mach, open up that file. So putting your text inside of there is probably a better idea to do it as a movie, but I'll just show you. That way you can go in there and change a lot of stuff. So file open, I'm going to go to the desktop, and I will go to Flash Tutorials, Flash 1, open. Don't forget to close this down and then reopen, and hopefully they'll fix that so we don't have to reopen it twice. And let me minimize this so you can see it better. I have a much higher resolution. And your system stables on and off, and our on and off line is working. So I'll show you how to do this in a movie here in the next video, and go into more depth with using different different components available in Flash. So very simple to do here, and I've tried to create it as simple as possible for the user end. All right, thank you.